Thank you for joining me in my studio. I'm Anne from Genesis Creations. I've been teaching the sort of things you see around me here for around about 40 years, and I was with an Australian company for 20 years, and at that point I decided I really wanted my own product. I wanted something that had the performance that I demanded of a good fabric paint. So one of the most exciting things to happen in my life has been to work very closely with an Australian manufacturer, and I've been able to go to them with my ideas in what I want a fabric paint to do. In our Genesis Creations range, we have two distinct types of paint. We have a thick creamy paint that is formulated to stay where you put it on the fabric, and it is Australia's only manufactured soft base cold cure paint, so it doesn't have any stiffness in the fabric whatsoever. However, I've got a confession to make. I have been an avid silk painter for a long time and was working with dyes for many years, but wanted something that was simpler and safer and didn't have all the complexities of dyes. So I started to put together in my head a product for silk painting, but there's more. I wanted a product that was non-toxic and non-polluting. I wanted something that was safe and simple to use. I wanted something that was totally washable, totally ironable on any fabric or fibre whatsoever. Of course, I didn't want to lose any of the beauty of silk painting that I'd enjoyed for so long either. I wanted it Aussie, of course. I'm an Aussie and our manufacturers are Australian. And I wanted to be able to work on any fabric or fibre whatsoever without having to stop and think about the nature of the fibre. We did it. We produced a product called Liquid Radiance, and it's a range of just 9 colours. You'll see 8 of those on my colour chart here. We introduced a beautiful new colour, cyan, which hasn't been added to the colour chart yet because there hasn't been an opportunity. They're all pure pigment colours, and that gives you the ability to mix absolutely any colour from those basic. We give you a colour mixing guide to get you started, but once you're underway with it, you will mix hundreds more of your own. As you're viewing this, I'm imagining that you'll probably have either been to a workshop program with me and are going to use this program for refresher, for revision, just to catch up on bits and pieces that you may have missed. Or you may be wondering what on earth Liquid Radiance is and decide that, well, yes, you'll catch up with this program and maybe that will lead you into workshops further down the track. There's nothing like being at a workshop with us because that gives us the opportunity for you to share with your fellow students and for you to see other things that are happening in the classroom while you're working. Then there'll be those people who can't get to a workshop. And this program is designed for you to be able to use the product successfully to develop your skills. Please be very aware that we have other things to help you as well. And it's best to use the program in conjunction with our handbooks, things that are in writing here that are a little bit different, just throw different aspects on things that we do during the workshop program. And also remember that I do aim to be as close as my phone or via email so that you can ask questions. So here we are, embarking on a wonderful colouring all the wonderful colouring processes using our own unique Liquid Radiance. Enjoy it with me.
Liquid Radiance is a very concentrated liquid colour and must be diluted with water. When you see these little bottles, the one on the left, number 1, is the colour concentrate as you receive it with a little flat cap on it. We then take off the flat cap and add a dispenser cap for ease pouring and dispensing or using by drops. This makes it a whole lot more economical. The next bottle you'll see is very similar to bottle number 2, but number 3 has actually been diluted with water, and it is very, very difficult to tell the difference between the diluted one and the concentrate. I have just used a piece of stocking under the cap so I can identify which is which. And in number 3, I'm using a pre-loved bottle because the labels are so difficult to get off. I leave it on there. That's what makes it so difficult to tell the difference when they're diluted. For a while, you'll be using dispenser bottles, and they do come with the dispenser caps. My favourite mix that I've used in all of the project in this program is 1/4 concentrate, 3/4 water, and it still produces wonderfully strong colour. To measure that, you can either wing it, as I do, or to put 1/4 concentrate into your bottle, it's actually the same height as the cap as you put it beside the bottle. So with the right amount of concentrate in the bottle, simply top it up with water, pop on the stocking, screw on the cap, and you're ready for action. Bottle number 4 in my picture actually has the flat cap on it, and I've got that as my spare so that when I'm doing a project, if I run out of that colour, I can then just swap the caps over and I can continue working. There are just 9 pure pigment colours in our Liquid Radiance range, and what you see on the colour chart on the left-hand column are those 9. Well, actually you see 8 on the chart, but we have introduced one more called cyan, and it is exactly the same colour as the square on the Liquid Radiance bottles. In the second column in from the left, the upper triangles are the concentrate to which an equal amount of water has been added, and those colours are still really, really strong. The lower triangles in that column and all the others is almost all water. There is so little concentrate in those that it's incredible. So you do need a lot of water when you're working with really pale colours. In the other 4 columns, we give you those from a colour mixing guide, and that will be helpful for you when you're getting to know the colours and how to mix them for the first time. However, once you've developed your confidence with colour mixing, you will mix hundreds from those basic 9. When I'm choosing colours, I will quite often refer to junk mail as something to look at. When the photographer puts the colours together, you can be dependent on the fact that he will always put colours together that look good, so we might as well use that expertise when we're choosing our colours too. Other things to take into consideration. Throughout this program, I'm working on small sample pieces, somewhere between A4 and A3 in size, but of course you can make your pieces as big or as small as you need for the projects. The timing for each technique is going to depend on the size of the fabric and on the particular technique that we're using. Be prepared as you work through this program to look at different ways of colouring and different ways of handling the fabrics and combining them differently. Although I'll show you one way of colouring a fabric and a particular way to handle that fabric to get that result, you might want to colour the fabric differently. You'll be able to make those things just as individual as you are. Learn the basics first. When you're drying your colours, you'll be taking into account the weather on the day. Humidity, dry air can all affect the drying times, but nothing that the weather can do to us will adversely affect the way Liquid Radiance works. It may just work slightly differently. Liquid Radiance is different. After all, it was developed from an inspiration I had in the bath.
Let's get ready to play. Pop an old sheet or an old curtain or something protective down over your table. This will help to absorb any spills. Techniques that we are going to do are not messy, but small accidents can happen. You're going to need some plastic to work on. Large sheets of plastic for big projects, and I'll show you how to make some plastic covered boards for smaller projects. You'll need an ice cream container for water or another plastic dish. You're going to need some rubber gloves, preferably disposable.
Definitely wear these if you have acrylic nails. I don't wear them all the time, but for some techniques they're really important. You'll need some craft paper. I've used toilet paper there. Non-perfumed is really important. Or you can use paper towel or tissues. And of course your colours, and we'll be showing you how to prepare those too. Plastic covered boards are really, really handy when you're doing our colouring techniques, and you can do up to quite large pieces of fabric on those boards, 1/4 metre, 1/2 metre, up to 1 metre for some techniques. Choose some strong plastic garbage bags is what I use, any colour, it really doesn't matter, but again, non-perfumed garbage bags are better because the perfumes in these things can actually cause interesting things to happen with the colours. Not interesting if you don't want those things to happen though. You're going to simply pop a piece of strong cardboard inside the garbage bag and tape it down well with masking tape. If you cover the boards well and securely, you can actually pop them in the sink to clean them as necessary, and well-covered boards will last you for years.